5 ships under humanitarian flags. $30 billion in cargo. And a U.S. Navy task group that treated a drug run like a wartime intercept. You're about to see how USS Freedom, 2 SH-60 Seahawks, and an MQ-9 Reaper turned a quiet pre-dawn horizon into a multi-domain kill box. We'll break down the encrypted hails, the first volley of naval gunfire, and the precision strike that ended it. But the real twist is inland, Phase 2 exposed industrial labs tied to defense-linked fronts. Stay to learn why this wasn't a bust, it was a blueprint for defeating hybrid cartels. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great! Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. 5 hulls fly relief flags, but the airwaves tell a different story. Why did encrypted silence become the tell? Because when a fleet claims charity and then shifts to locked channels, it signals control, not chaos. You don't need noise to read intent. You need mismatch. And mismatch was everywhere. USS Freedom holds the center like a sea anchor, steady, throwing radar and comms across the lane. 2 SH-60 Seahawks hunt the edges, high enough to see, low enough to threaten. An MQ-9 Reaper laces the sky into a mesh, passing tracks and snapshots down the pipe. The mission reads simple on paper: stop contraband and keep the lawyers calm. That means no stray rounds over borders, no sudden boardings without cause, and no headlines that say warship guns down aid convoy. Tight rules.
President Trump says he's ordered the deployment of 2 U.S. nuclear submarines to the appropriate regions in response to threats from the former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev.
We know when there's Russians underway at all times. We track that very, very closely.
The men have been taunting each other after the White House this week said Russia had 10 days to agree to a ceasefire in Ukraine or face tough sanctions.
A threat was made and we didn't think it was appropriate, so I have to be very careful. So I do that on the basis of safety for our people.
Clear aim. At pre-dawn, the flotilla slides along the Colombian EEZ line, just shy of the seam where flags get touchy. They run low light, profiles masked by false AIS names that match relief ships on paper. VHF replies come back encrypted and wrong for the call signs they claim. That's the rub. What triggers the next rung when a non-state fleet dresses as humanitarian but acts like covert shipping? The book says behavior beats branding. So the watch team starts counting tells. The Reaper goes to work in the dark. IR and EO lenses cut through haze and show heat where paperwork swears cold cargo. Maritime radar modes sweep for metal and motion, tagging returns that move like freighters but sit in the water like speed-heavy hulls. Pattern of life tools stitch a timeline, comparing last known routes to fuel loads and wake shape. Heavy wakes on, light relief, hulls don't compute. Hulls riding low with clean, fast wakes point to power and weight, not blankets and rice. That feed, time-stamped and layered, pours straight into Freedom's Combat Information Center, where track numbers become decisions. The ship doesn't guess. It builds a case. The Seahawks hang off the beams and bring fleur to bear, painting decks and wheelhouses with tight, cold images you can brief. Laser designators mark lines of drift and steering points, so every voice on the net talks about the same square foot of steel. Loud hailers cut through the hum, identify, slow, prepare to be inspected. The dipping sonar never leaves its rack. This isn't about subs. It's about surface control with eyes, light, and the hint of sting.
President Trump issuing new warnings to Russia and repositioning 2 U.S. nuclear submarines after what he calls highly provocative statements by Russia's former president.
Russia, I think it's disgusting what they're doing. I think it's disgusting.
And Donald Trump has posted online about moving 2 nuclear submarines to be nearer to Russia.
Force climbs a ladder. First, hail and query. Then, maneuver to disadvantage, push angles that block exits and force bad choices. Freedom walks in a spread that boxes the lane but leaves a clean out if they comply. Warning shots are the next rung, a deck gun stitching water where a bow will be if it keeps closing. Fire control tracks stay soft until hostile acts or chronic non-compliance hit the threshold. After that, precision beats volume. Disable, don't destroy. Meanwhile, the back room runs cyber-enabled maritime intel like a sieve. Spoofed AIS gets cross-checked against satellites that see hull lines, deck clutter, and plume color. When a ship claims one class but burns fuel like a different beast, confidence rises. Geometry doesn't lie. Neither do shadows thrown by cranes that don't exist on the manifest. You stack these layers, and targets move from maybe to act now. The Seahawks split the pack, one left, one right, forcing the convoy to show its hand. The Reaper pins the lead ship's course with a steady line, no drift, no panic. Freedom shifts to deny the southern egress and holds the gun quiet. Then Vessel 3 yaws hard toward the cordon. Timeline snaps. Do you let rotors warn again, or do you take the helm out? The sequence rolls clean. Seahawk 1 makes the standoff call with the beam light on the wheelhouse. No change. Freedom fires controlled bursts at the rudder quadrant of the non-compliant hull, metal shears, and the ship loses steerage but keeps buoyancy. A fast craft darts to screen and gets a precision hit that kills thrust without cooking the crew. The convoy's shape caves in. 5 hulls, 5 tailored effects, no spray and pray. The water goes quiet. But the center of gravity isn't blue. The sea's drives, the pocket ledgers, the relief paperwork with matching typos, those threads run inland to compounds that host clinics by day and machines by night. And the map they form sets the next move. The wind formed on spreadsheets before it echoed on the water. Finance led the trace. Data fused the lanes. Timing linked the hands. 5 hulls became pins on a board, then vectors to warehouses that wore charity faces and moved like factories. You saw joint power do what brute force can't. Air fixed eyes. Sea locked doors. Cyber drew the map, and law closed the loop. If you want deeper breakdowns of the tech and tactics that stop hybrid cartels at sea, subscribe and comment your next pick: Reaper sensors, Seahawk tactics, or shipboard fire control. Modern interdiction is synchronized. Know the stack.